This is a Thorium Energy Alliance Technology Talk from the inaugural Future of Energy Conference, October 2009. To find out more about thorium energy, please visit thoriumenergyalliance.com. This talk is from James Kennedy of Wings Enterprises, whose topic is critical and strategic failures in rare earth resources.
So let's look at the defense failure a little bit more in depth. The failure on the defense side is actually, the Defense Department is 3 steps removed from these materials that are clearly critical to various weapon systems in the entire mission. There are no active rare earth producers in the United States. There are no refining capabilities in the United States. And there are no active heavy rare earth alloy producers in the United States. So this is a pretty serious problem. Our nation's defense contractors are having trouble securing these materials today. I was set upon this course probably about 2.5 years ago when I got a call from a regional defense contractor who was having serious problems securing neodymium. And they basically went out and searched through the literature and saw that the mine that we own is potentially a huge producer. So that's where this mission started, but this is very demonstrable. The Defense Department is having real problems here. And of course, the rare earths were delisted as being strategic and no longer kept in the strategic reserve. And consequently, I would argue that the United States' entire military system is rare earth dependent, and in fact, China is the person that controls it all. How did this happen? 1986, Chinese government created a top secret national priorities list called Program 863. And they basically said, what do we have and where do we want to be? If you follow the chronology here, in less than 30 years, China basically took over and totally monopolized this entire industry. It's pretty breathtaking. The United States has 2 permitted mines. Recent financial collapse caused one project, our project. We had funding, and that project basically, we got a call on October 2nd, and the entire banking division was shut down, so there was no money for us to proceed. I would assume that Mountain Pass, who's the other permitted rare earth potential producer, is also similarly suffering from the financial collapse. Which, by the way, leads itself to another serious risk, which is under the current cloud of no finances anywhere, the only potential seriously interested investor in this project is the Chinese. There are no active rare earth refineries. Consequently, if we got money tomorrow and we started mining, there's no domestic refinery for us to send this material to. We'd end up having to ship it outside the United States. Japan has refining capacity, but Japan has very strict rules against the import of radioactive materials. And with our mine and with many rare earth mines, you've got a small thorium component. So consequently, we couldn't sell our concentrates to Japan. We'd actually have to sell our concentrates to China because they'll accept it. Okay, a modern rare earth refinery would cost about $1 billion and only do 20 to 25,000 tons a year of finished oxides, metals, and alloys. Consequently, that is more than enough for entire U.S. Current consumption. Okay, so what am I talking about here? Because all I've told you is everything looks horrible, right? Well, here's the problem. It's a free market failure. China's strategic resource monopoly is seen by many as a Monroe Doctrine, or sovereign dominion over these critical resources, and increasingly the related technologies and intellectual property that come with them. This is the heart of the argument and the heart of the problem right here. China, you could make the argument, doesn't ever need to make a dollar off the mining and producing and selling of rare earth resources, metals or alloys. What they're really interested in is technology and intellectual property. And they have such an incredible control over the market, they could easily bankrupt any Western company that decided to go into business against them. In fact, they effectively did that to Mountain Pass. Financial markets are in no way willing to bear this risk. I'm not sure how much you want to go into that, but it's just something they won't do. Okay, so it's not enough that China, in fact, has created this wonderful monopoly through a 30-year plan of national industrial military policy. They are in the business of creating scarcity. They do this by creating tax systems and restrictions on production. And they are so effective at this, they originally were very inefficient, environmentally unsound producers of rare earth oxides, and they worked their way up the food chain to make very, very excellent oxides. And then they started going up the food chain into the metals and now into the alloys, thanks a lot to the sale of U.S. technology and other technologies to them. Ultimately, this is how a good national industrial policy should work. They've eaten so far up the food chain that now their control of the base oxides and elements through tax schemes and other schemes, they're basically bankrupting all of the refineries outside of China. If you're paying a 30% tax penalty to get elements or metals out of China so you can do your alloy work, and then you have to compete against those same products being sold directly from China, the math isn't there. You don't survive. So they've built a monopoly that actually feeds its way right up the food chain. What are they doing with this plan? In my opinion, their ultimate goal is basically to use the leverage for these materials, minerals, materials, metals, and alloys to force the relocation of all of the most attractive technologies across the globe. A number of U.S. companies, some even selling into the Defense Department chain, and a lot of European companies have already physically moved property, plant, equipment inside China for the sole purpose of securing a supply. You can't build a $100 million, $500 million facility that's going to make neodymium dysprosium magnets to float giant wind turbine motors. You can't do it if you don't know for a fact you're going to get supplies today, tomorrow, and 10 years from now. So these companies are actually forced to locate inside China. And this is where all the risk is. This is in fact a game. This is the problem. It's more than just an investment problem or a resource problem. It's a national, industrial, and strategic policy problem. Okay, so I told you all the problems and what needs to happen. Because I've got a paper that I can make available that outlines the failure on the financial side, but the financial side isn't going to put up $1 billion for somebody to build a refinery and see if they can compete with China. It's not realistic. So what you're going to need Uncle Sam to actually step up, put some chips on the table, and get in the game. If you had a single facility capable of receiving concentrates from anybody, suddenly there'd be a tremendous amount of rare earths available, because a lot of mines that mine other primary commodities have small rare earth values that they don't choose to recover because the recovery costs are high, and then if it's got any thorium value, there's no place to ship it. It's just, so you could instantly create a tremendous amount of rare earth oxide or feed capacity. They need to be tied to the back end too. You need the metallurgical side to be buying into this thing. We've got congressmen and presidents talking about us leading the future in these green technologies and making battery packs for cars. It's silly. I mean, why would you even say that when you, in fact, don't even have your hands on the resources necessary? These things need to be communicated, and I think they need to be communicated strongly. The reason I'm here to talk about rare earths as they relate to thorium is because for a lot of producers of rare earths, they're going to have thorium as a byproduct. And so you need a refinery that can convert to high-level elements and also extract the thorium and bring the thorium up to some grade and have an ultimate purpose for it. So ultimately, this project would have similar goals, being a place that can refine the thorium and be a proponent for thorium energy. So questions?